welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I know hits close to home for a lot of you in the accounting field, especially if you're working within South Africa's, let's say, unique financial system. We're diving into, well, the often very laborious process of handling South African bank statements.
Yeah, it can be quite a task.
Exactly. So if you've ever felt just buried under manual data entry or wish for more efficiency, better accuracy, or maybe just wanted to grasp what's in your financial data faster, then, well, you're definitely in the right place.
And for this deep dive, we've pulled together some, I think, really insightful sources. We'll be looking at articles from ClerkiQ. They really get into the specifics of processing these statements.
Right.
And also broader topics like intelligent automation in accounting generally, the pretty significant talent shortage we're seeing in South Africa and why those standard, off-the-shelf OCR tools often just don't cut it.
Okay, so our mission, really, is to unpack these sources. We want to pull out the key insights into the actual headaches, the day-to-day struggles South African accounting professionals face, and maybe more importantly, how AI-powered solutions are stepping in to help.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Let's get right to the heart of it. The sheer time and effort involved in the traditional manual way of processing these bank statements. It's a huge drain, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you think about just how many different formats there are across the banks. I even heard that ABSA statements, for example, historically were known for being particularly tricky.
That's right. And the core problem really is this deep reliance on manual data entry. It's embedded in so many accounting systems across South Africa.
And it's not just slow, right?
Yeah.
It's error-prone, too.
Inevitably. It's not only incredibly time-consuming, but whenever you have humans keying in data manually, well, errors are going to happen. It's just part of the process.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's more than just a minor frustration, isn't it? One of the articles we looked at had this quote, "Manual data entry and repetitive tasks have long been the bane of accounting departments, sapping the time that could otherwise be used for strategic decision-making." That feels spot on.
It really does. You're essentially using highly skilled professionals for what amounts to clerical work.
Right, when their expertise could be, applied to much higher value stuff.
Exactly. And the impact goes beyond just lost time. There are studies showing that when accountants get bogged down in these routine tasks, their ability to provide real strategic value, like advising clients properly, helping shape financial strategy, gets seriously hampered.
Which then, I guess, affects the bottom line, profitability, client happiness.
Absolutely. It has a direct knock-on effect on both profitability and, crucially, client satisfaction. You can't provide top-tier advice if you're drowning in data entry.
Okay, that really sets the scene. And it leads us nicely into another critical issue our sources highlighted, this pretty serious shortage of skilled accountants in South Africa. We're not talking a small number here, are we?
No, it's quite alarming, actually. Both SEP and SECA have voiced concerns. And there was a business tech article estimating the shortfall at over 20,000 skilled accountants.
Wow, 20,000. That's a huge number.
It's a substantial deficit, yeah.
And do the sources give reasons why? Is it just one thing?
It seems to be a mix of things, really. You've got experienced people leaving the country for opportunities elsewhere, the brain drain or talent exodus. Then there's this perception, especially among younger people, that accounting is just dull, repetitive work, which, doesn't exactly encourage them to join the profession.
Yeah, that image problem.
Right. And we also have to acknowledge there are systemic barriers sometimes hindering the development of local talent, making it harder for people to qualify and progress.
It sounds like a perfect storm, almost. That business tech article had a pretty stark quote, didn't it? Something like,
yeah, it said, "Without a sufficient pipeline of local talent, firms are compelled to recruit from overseas, which can compromise the speed and quality of financial reporting."
That really drives home how serious it is. Though it is good to see things like that UWC and SECA partnership trying to tackle the shortage, especially for Black chartered accountants. It shows there's awareness of those systemic issues, too.
Definitely positive steps. But, when you have this lack of skilled people, it just puts even more pressure on the accountants who are there to handle all that manual, tedious work. It becomes a bit of a vicious cycle.
Okay, so let's recap. Problem 1, tons of manual data entry eating up time, preventing strategic work. Problem 2, a major talent shortage making problem 1 even worse.
That's a good summary.
Now let's talk tech. OCR, optical character recognition. That was supposed to help with this kind of thing, wasn't it? Why isn't generic OCR the magic bullet here, especially with these South African bank statements?
Yeah, that's a really key point. Generic OCR, fundamentally, it recognizes characters, turns images into text. But it works best when documents are pretty uniform, standard layouts.
And South African bank statements are not that.
Exactly. As we mentioned, they're anything but uniform. You've got a huge variety in how they're laid out, the fonts they use, how the tables are structured. It varies not just bank to bank, but sometimes even within the same bank for different account types.
Okay. So when a standard OCR tool hits that kind of variety, what happens? Does it just throw its hands up?
Pretty much. Well, it struggles badly. It leads to all sorts of errors, reading numbers wrong, jumbling up columns, grabbing text incorrectly.
So you end up spending ages fixing it anyway.
Precisely. You might have automated the scanning part, technically, but the output needs so much manual checking and fixing that you kind of lose the whole point of automating in the first place. It becomes error correction, not efficiency.
Right, defeats the purpose. Okay, so generic OCR isn't the answer here. But the sources talk about something else. Intelligent automation. Specifically AI-powered tools like ClerkiQ. What makes this different?
The key word is intelligent. It's not just basic RPA, robotic process automation, or simple OCR following rigid rules. Intelligent automation blends RPA with AI, with artificial intelligence, and much smarter OCR that can actually learn and adapt.
Learn and adapt.
So
It means it can handle unstructured data better. It can even make sort of complex decisions based on context, not just predefined rules.
So it's not just seeing letters and numbers, it's actually understanding the statement.
That's the goal, yes. AI-powered extraction tries to grasp the context, the underlying structure. Even if the layout changes, it's looking for meaning. What is this number? What is this piece of text in the context of a bank statement, not just characters in a box? It might use things like natural language processing to figure that out.
Okay, that sounds like a genuine step up. What are the big advantages then? Well, first, like we said, it adapts dynamically to all those different layouts. Yeah. That massively cuts down errors compared to the old OCR.
It learns.
Fewer errors. That's huge.
And second, the efficiency gains.
Wow.
They can be enormous.
Yeah.
Things that took hours manually. We're talking minutes sometimes. Huge time savings, fewer mistakes overall. We saw a case study, I think it was in the ClerkiQ stuff, where one firm cut bank rec time by 80%.
80. Wow, 80% on reconciliations. That changes everything for month end.
Absolutely. And the sources back this up with real examples, significant drops in processing time, way fewer of those reconciliation errors that drive everyone crazy.
So frees people up.
Exactly. It empowers accountants to move away from the data entry grind and focus on the higher level stuff we talked about, proper financial analysis, talking to clients, strategy. Some tools can even flag weird transaction patterns, things that are almost impossible to spot manually when you're dealing with huge volumes. Right. There was another quote that stuck with me. Intelligent automation is transforming accounting by liberating professionals from repetitive tasks, allowing them to become strategic business partners. That really captures that shift, doesn't it?
It does. It's about changing the role itself. And if you look at a specific tool, like ClerkiQ again, their different plans kind of show this progression.
How so?
Well, the basic essential plan gives you extraction, CSV export, already way better than manual. But then you move up to professional or enterprise, and you get AI doing balance checks, helping sort out discrepancies. And that enterprise plan claims, 99% AI-powered accuracy?
Yeah, that 99% figure definitely caught my eye. And things like that email to CSV feature they mentioned for enterprise, just forward an email and get the data back, ready to use. That sounds incredibly smooth.
It does, and it seems to be backed up by what users are saying. The testimonials mention saving hundreds of hours a month. They talk about ease of use, great accuracy, and crucially how these tools are finally cracking those difficult statements, like the ABSA ones we mentioned earlier.
Okay, so the tech is tackling the immediate problems, time, accuracy, dealing with tricky formats. But let's zoom out again. What's the bigger picture impact? How does this change the actual role of the accountant?
That's where it gets really interesting, I think. By taking away the routine stuff, it frees accountants up to be genuine strategic advisors.
How does that look in practice?
They actually have the time to dig into the data, spot trends, offer real insights to their clients. Instead of just inputting numbers, they become partners helping to drive the business forward.
So less number crunching, more analysis and advising. The sources gave some examples, right? What can they do with this extra time?
Yeah, things like proactively reviewing financials to find opportunities or risks for clients, spending more quality time actually talking with clients, building those relationships, and maybe, just maybe, improving their own work-life balance a bit by getting rid of some of that grinding, repetitive work.
That sounds like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Are there still tricky bits, though? Are there some statements even AI struggles with?
That's a fair question. I mean, look, if you have a really terrible quality scan, like super blurry or maybe handwritten notes all over it, that could still pose a challenge even for AI.
Yeah.
But these systems are constantly learning, getting better, and good ones usually have ways to flag anything they're unsure about for a quick human check. So it's not foolproof, maybe, but it's vastly more reliable and efficient.
Right. It sounds much, much better overall.
It is. Like that other quote said, by automating routine tasks, accounting professionals are able to dedicate more time to client-centric activities, thus transforming themselves into trusted advisors who drive business strategy. That really sums it up.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We've taken this deep dive into the pain points around South African bank statements, the pressure from the talent shortage, why old tech like basic OCR falls short, and this potential from AI-driven intelligent automation.
Yeah, in a nutshell, manual processing of these varied statements is a massive bottleneck, time-consuming, error-prone. The talent shortage makes it worse. Old OCR couldn't really handle the variety. But AI-powered automation, that looks like a genuine game changer.
Absolutely. It seems like adopting AI isn't just about doing the old tasks faster or more accurately. It's about enabling accountants to actually change their role, to move beyond data entry and become these crucial strategic partners, adding way more value.
Which really brings us to the final thought for you, listening in. How could bringing in this kind of intelligent automation change the way your practice works day to day?
Yeah, think about it. What strategic insights could you find for your clients if you or your team weren't bogged down in that repetitive data capture?
What new trends or opportunities might jump out from the data? How could you deepen those client relationships by having more time for meaningful conversation? It's definitely something to mull over how technology could help you overcome today's limits and really unlock a new level of value.